The judge looked straight at my family and said, "Everything changes today." In that moment, every lie they had told for years fell apart. My name is Nathan Brooks, and the day my family dragged me into court was supposed to be the day they took everything from me instead. It became the day they lost everything. But to understand why the judge's final decision changed all of our lives, you have to know what happened 3 years earlier. It started with my grandfather. He wasn't a wealthy billionaire. He owned a successful construction company in Ohio, a comfortable house, and several pieces of commercial property. More importantly, he believed in honesty. He used to tell me, "Nathan, money doesn't reveal character. It exposes it." At the time, I didn't fully understand what he meant. Years later, Growing up, I spent every summer working beside Grandpa. While my cousins relaxed by the lake, I swept warehouses, organized tools, and learned how every part of the business worked. Grandpa never gave me special treatment. If I made a mistake, he corrected me. If I worked hard, he noticed. One afternoon, after we finished repairing a rental property, he handed me a bottle of water. "You know why I trust you." I shrugged. "Because you care about people more than money." Those words stayed with me. I didn't realize someone else had been listening. My Uncle Victor stood only a few feet away. His face tightened for just a second before he smiled. Looking back, I should have recognized that look. It wasn't pride. It was jealousy. And that jealousy would grow into something much uglier. When Grandpa passed away at 81, the entire family gathered for the funeral. Everyone cried, or at least they appeared to. My Aunt Linda spent more time asking the attorney about the estate than talking about Grandpa. Victor kept whispering with my cousins in the back of the church. Even my older sister, Ashley, seemed distracted. I stood quietly beside Grandpa's casket. I wasn't thinking about money. I was thinking about the last conversation we had. He squeezed my shoulder and smiled. "No matter what happens after I'm gone, stay calm." At the time, I thought he meant grief. Now I know he meant something else. A week later, our family met at the attorney's office. Everyone expected a simple reading of the will. Instead, Grandpa's attorney, Mr. Harris, announced there would be another hearing. Several weeks later, because parts of the estate were being reviewed. Victor immediately became impatient. "Why delay this?" Mr. Harris remained calm. "Those were your father's written instructions." Victor forced a smile. "Of course." But I noticed his hands. They were shaking. Just a little. Why would a man be nervous before hearing his own father's wishes? That question stayed with me. The weeks before the hearing became strange. Family members who barely called me suddenly wanted to have lunch. Ashley invited me over for dinner. Victor stopped by my apartment with coffee. It all felt unnatural. One evening, Victor leaned against my truck and smiled. "You know, Nathan, families should stick together." I agree. When everything is settled, we should avoid unnecessary conflict. I looked at him carefully. "What conflict?" He laughed. "Oh, you know, legal stuff." Legal stuff? No one had mentioned any legal problems. Yet somehow, Victor already seemed worried about them. That was the first time my instincts told me something wasn't right. A few days later, Ashley called. "Nathan, can you sign something for me?" "What is it?" "Oh, just paperwork confirming everyone agrees with Grandpa's intentions." "I'd rather let my attorney look at it first." Silence. Then her friendly voice disappeared. "Seriously? You don't trust your own family?" I answered quietly. "I trust paperwork even less." She hung up without saying goodbye. That single phone call told me more than any confession ever could. Someone wanted my signature, and they wanted it badly. The official court hearing finally arrived. The courthouse was packed. Victor walked in wearing an expensive suit and a confident smile. Ashley avoided eye contact. Linda whispered constantly with their lawyer. When I entered the courtroom, they all looked relieved, as if they believed I had walked into a trap. Maybe I had, but not the one they expected. Because sitting beside me was my own attorney, and inside his briefcase was something none of them knew existed. As the judge entered the courtroom and everyone stood, I caught Victor smiling across the room. He looked absolutely certain he had already won. I almost felt sorry for him, because before this day was over, the judge was going to read something that would destroy every plan my family had spent years preparing. And the first surprise hadn't even begun. The judge asked everyone to take their seats. The courtroom became so quiet that I could hear the air conditioner humming above us. Mr. Harris stood first. Your Honor, before the estate can be distributed, there are several documents that must be reviewed. Victor smiled confidently. Our family is ready. His attorney nodded. So are we. I stayed silent. Sometimes the strongest move is saying nothing. The first hour felt routine. Property records, financial statements, tax documents, everything seemed to support. Victor's claim that Grandpa had intended to leave. Control of the construction company to him. Victor looked more relaxed with every passing minute. He even glanced at me and smiled, almost as if he wanted me to know I had already lost. Then the judge asked one simple question. Has every version of the will been submitted? Victor's attorney answered immediately. Yes, Your Honor. Before the judge could continue, Mr. Harris slowly stood. Actually, no. The room froze. My Aunt Linda's face turned pale. Victor turned toward Mr. Harris. What do you mean, no? Mr. Harris opened a large envelope. My client instructed me to hold one final document unless the original estate plan was challenged. Victor's confidence disappeared. What document? Mr. Harris looked directly at the judge. A signed amendment created 6 months before Mr. Brooks passed away. The courtroom erupted in whispers. Victor jumped to his feet. That's impossible! The judge raised a hand. Sit down, Mr. Brooks. Reluctantly, he obeyed. Mr. Harris handed the document to the judge. Every page carried Grandpa's signature. Every page had been witnessed and notarized. The judge examined it carefully before looking over his glasses. This appears to be legally valid. Victor shook his head. No, that's not right. For the first time all morning, I saw fear in his eyes. Real fear. The amendment explained everything. Grandpa had discovered that someone inside the family had pressured him repeatedly to change his estate plan. Instead of confronting them, he quietly created a new legal safeguard. If anyone challenged the estate, attempted to pressure another beneficiary, or tried to obtain signatures through deception, that person would automatically lose every management right over the company. The court would appoint an independent trustee until ownership was properly transferred. The judge looked toward Victor. Mr. Brooks, did you ask your nephew to sign estate documents before today's hearing? Victor didn't answer. Ashley lowered her head. The silence said enough. Then my attorney stood. Your Honor, with permission. He handed the court copies of text messages. Ashley asking for my signature, Victor inviting me to discuss legal paperwork, voicemail recordings, even security footage from my apartment building showing Victor arriving with documents. The judge reviewed every page carefully. No one in my family looked at me anymore. They couldn't. Every lie they had told was falling apart. After a long pause, the judge spoke. The evidence shows repeated attempts to influence another beneficiary before the court completed probate. Victor whispered. We were only trying to avoid conflict. The judge replied firmly. The evidence suggests otherwise. I watched my uncle sink back into his chair. For years, he had believed confidence could replace honesty. Now honesty was winning. Still, the judge hadn't announced the final ruling yet. And what came next would change my family's future forever. The judge took one final look at the evidence before speaking. Based on the valid amendment and the documented attempts to influence another beneficiary, this court appoints an independent trustee to oversee the estate. Mr. Victor Brooks is removed from all management authority, effective immediately. The courtroom fell silent. Victor buried his face in his hands. Ashley quietly wiped away tears. No one argued. They knew the decision was final. Outside the courthouse, Victor walked toward me. I was wrong, he said. Can we start over? I looked at him calmly. I don't hate you, but trust has to be earned, not inherited. Then I got into my car and drove away. Over the next year, the company grew stronger under honest leadership. Employees kept their jobs, clients stayed, and Grandpa's reputation remained intact. When the legal process ended, I became the company's new president. Not because I fought for money, but because I protected Grandpa's wishes. That day, I finally understood what Grandpa meant. Money doesn't reveal character. It exposes it. If this story taught you something, tell me in the comments what you would have done in my place. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more emotional revenge stories. Thanks for watching.